Hello and welcome to the Chocolate Good Game. It's match preview of Arsenal against West Ham United. Gonzo, can you kick us off with your thoughts on the Gunners, please?
Yeah, obviously had a win last night, a home win. It was got a goal, bit fortuitous at the end, but they should have been well ahead by then. I think Gyökeres probably should have had a number of goals, shouldn't he? It's make or break for I think Mikel Arteta this season. Not for Arsenal. They've got a really good group of players there. The club are healthy. I mean, everything you would feel is going in the right direction. But he's a manager that needs a trophy, really. So it really, I think it feel it has to be this season because they spend so much money and they spend so long at the top and in and around the top teams. Not winning a trophy over a sustained period is a failure. It's all relative to whatever the size of club is. You know, Aston Villa not winning a trophy a failure? No, it's not. But at Arsenal, it certainly is. He needs something now, and he's been backed from the moment he went in there and kicked Özil out and kicked the Aubameyang out, didn't he? That's right. He's been able to build a squad in his image, and it is very much in his image. It's attritional. I always look at him as like a Diego Simeone, if you like, and I look at Arsenal like that. Arsenal are. I know they didn't last night. I know Lewis Skelly played at left back and all the rest of it, but there's centre backs all across the back line. They're attritional. They scrap. They can be nasty. They're good at set pieces. In many respects, they are Atletico Madrid in that sense. So, I think the time has come for him to deliver. Really.
Yeah, I completely agree because they are good. There's no doubt Arsenal are a good team and they've been a good team for a number of seasons under Arteta as well. But they're not a successful team.
No.
And at what point do you say we're fed up with good? Because is Arteta a bad manager? Absolutely not. He's clearly a top manager. Arsenal's a big football club. They've got a really good squad there. And what Arteta is delivering is strong results. But at some point, you've got to say, well, it's not successful, though. The success is measured by silverware, not by coming runner-up. And if it was measured by finishing second in the Premier League every season, you're doing a tremendous job. Continue as you are. And I think in Arteta's early stages, that was good enough. That was getting them back in top four consistently, challenging for the title, because I think that's what they have been doing in some seasons, but not all. Not last season, but the season that they pushed Liverpool a lot closer than they did last season as well. So they have been in and around it. But at some point, you've got to say enough's enough. It's time to bring trophies back to the Emirates. And he's done it once. And that's when he first went in with the FA Cup. But that wasn't his squad. That was building on someone else's work. Now it's his squad. Yep. It's his team. Now he has to deliver. And I think they've got to almost know what they're going to do if they finish second again this season. What you're going to do, you finish runner-up and you get knocked out of the quarterfinals of the Champions League, quarterfinals of Carabao Cup, and the quarterfinals of the FA Cup. What you're going to do? Are you going to give them another season and then another season? How long does it go on until you say, sorry, mate, we need trophies? Do you think I just can't see them ever sacking him, though. That's the thing. Do you know if they finish that scenario that I just discussed? I can't see them ever pulling the trigger. So they're in a bit of a difficult situation. He's sort of victim of his own success, although it was a success, but it's no longer enough, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I'd go with a victim of his own competency because, as you say, It's not success. Winning the FA Cup is not success. If they were to keep him on, okay, so if it doesn't fail, if it doesn't win this season, he is out of excuses. So he'd have to rip up his blueprint. And the reason I say that is he has his striker this season, and I know he missed a few, but he's a good striker. He's got European pedigree. There's, people say he might be a bit of a flat track bully, but I think that's easily put out. That's easily put out there. He's a good striker, and I think they did the right thing. It was either him or Sesko, and you look at it now, you think they probably got that decision right, didn't they? I think if it doesn't work, then as far as Arteta's concerned, it's this style is not going to work. So here's the important thing. It is a style that will win you trophies, but it's not a style that's going to dominate. And funny enough, you can look at I know it's not slightly different actually. I was going to say Atletico Madrid. They are, because Arsenal are not the biggest club in the country. To dominate, I feel you have to play a different way. So it's probably a style that's going to get you over the line. If it doesn't end up getting you over the line, you're probably going to have to rip it up, and you're probably going to have to start thinking, well, actually, maybe I need a slightly different shape. Maybe I need a different style of striker. Maybe I've got to stop all these centre backs, and basically trying to bully my way to victories. Now, you'll ask me about, I don't think they're all bully boys, by the way. You'll ask me about players in a minute. And my favourite player for Arsenal is anything but. But at that point where you think, well, hold on, maybe we need a different type of striker. Maybe we want to get some more attacking fullbacks. Maybe we want to switch to more wing-back style things. Maybe we want to do something a little bit differently. At that point, you then got to look at it and think, well, why are we getting Arteta? If you remember when we had Lopetegui last season, he was a defensive manager, and he said, well, it sort of got lost. The Lopetegui stuff has got lost in the fact that West Ham has struggled so much. But one of the biggest comments I heard last season was Lopetegui said, I got asked to create an attacking team. You thought, what? Why have we appointed him then? So I think if you are going to rip up the rule book and you're going to say, actually, I want flying wing backs and I want a tricky little striker or whatever, then you're looking at it thinking, well, maybe I don't want Arteta then. Maybe we need a different type of manager. It's interesting. But not in any catastrophic sense. It's not make or break, because the club are absolutely fine. It's just that last incremental 3 or 4% is either man to take them and do that. I'm not so sure.
Because I think a lot of Arsenal fans won't like this, but I think Crystal Palace have been more successful than Arsenal in the last 12 months.
Well, they have, yeah.
Won an FA Cup. Newcastle United have been. They've won the Carabao Cup. Any team that's won silverware. Spurs have been. They won the Europa League. We have been. We won the conference. Yeah. Any team that's won silverware in the last, while Arteta's been at Arsenal post winning the FA Cup, I would argue been more successful than that team, albeit for a short period of time. Are we more successful than Arsenal now? Absolutely not. But for that one season, we were.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. Arsenal are staying where they are, which is close, but not quite. And they've got to stop that. They've got to deliver. He's got to deliver. Will he deliver, Gonzo? They're still in all 4 competitions. They beat Port Vale in the Carabao Cup. Also, they've got the FA Cup coming up. They got off to a strong start in the Champions League. They're looking good in the Premier League. Will they win some silverware? Give us your prediction.
Well, only if other teams fail. Well, Arsenal under Arteta can only win trophies if somebody else isn't good. If Liverpool are at their best, if Man City are at their best, Arsenal can't win. Now, you may well find that they've lucked in, but we've seen this before, and I would say the same for Europe. You forget about it. They're not going to come up against the PSG, who are the champions, playing that way. PSG will swat them aside. So they don't just need to be good. They need the other teams to be bad and have an off season. Will Liverpool? We're into a conversation about Liverpool. Then it depends how long. I will give you an answer. It depends how long Arne Slot persists with Wirtz and this right back situation. The moment he takes Wirtz out, puts Szoboszlai back in the middle, and sorts right back out, then I suspect Liverpool will get back to it. They've had a tough start to the season, though, Arsenal. I just wonder at what point psychology kicks in, and you have muscle memory for winning, but you have muscle memory for sort of falling at the last hurdle, and that's what I think Arsenal do. They may be the beneficiaries that both Man City and Liverpool are not on it this season, so they I think they win it. I think they win it by default.
I think they win something as well. And I'm talking about Premier League or Champions League. I'm just unsure which one. They're the team that's impressed me the most this season. I know they're not top of the league, and therefore people say, well, they're not the best team. Liverpool are. But I'm not speaking about who I think the best team is. I'm talking about the team that's impressed me the most.
Yeah.
I think Liverpool have been a little bit lucky picking up some of the wins with last-minute goals and stuff like that. It's not sustainable. Man City, one game looked like they're back to their best. The next game, it looked like Man City of last season. It was just a little bit stale. But Arsenal, at times last season, you could see they were a real force under Arteta. They're really well organised, tactically really good. And I think the squad depth just let them down a little bit. That game against PSG in particular, when he had to deploy Declan Rice as a number 6, and it just killed any energy he had in midfield. It just didn't exist. Marino was in there, and I can't recall the other midfielder that was in there with Declan Rice on that night, but they just missed it. And they've sort of addressed that this season. Norgard sat there, and I know he's not the most popular player in the world, but it means that if Zubimendi's out, he comes in rather than pulling Declan Rice deeper. You've got Eze as an option in central midfield as well if you want to add something a little bit different. And I'm looking at that squad that they've got. You know, Calafiori was rested, so Lewis Skelly came in. Timber was rested, so Ben White come in. Gabriel got injured, so Mosquera came on. I thought, bloody hell, this is just like two good players in every position here. And they're still suffering with quite a few injuries at the minute. Havertz is out, Jesus is out, but their squad's still fantastic. And I don't know, I think this might be Arsenal's year for one of the big ones. While we've been critical of them by almost a bit tongue in cheek, saying, "Oh, they've always been close, but not quite." To do that consistently, there's clearly a lot right. You're just missing something to get over the line.
Yeah.
And I disagree with you slightly when you say they'll win it by default. I think they are good enough to beat Manchester City or Liverpool when they're all putting, but Arsenal just need to be consistent now. I think they might win something this year. I don't know which one, whether it's Premier League or Champions League. I'm talking about the two big prizes here. I think.
Well, I'll go for Premier League. I don't think they can win the Champions League. And Arsenal fans won't like that, but unless you are kneeling at the altar of Arsenal and praising everything that they do, their online fans don't like anything. They don't think you should be singing songs about them, or even there should be banter or rivalry. They're a bizarre bunch, to be honest with you. But but I do think it'll be their year in the Premier League. No way in the Champions League.
It wouldn't surprise me. I think with the Champions League, the problem is you don't know what the draws look like, do you? You can see teams get to the semi-final and you look at their run, you think, well, you've done all right here, haven't you? Coming up against teams that are okay, then you get other teams that consistently feel like you're getting drawn against the big hitters. Last question on Arsenal before we discuss our team. Players you admire?
Well, Odegaard is just a wonderful, wonderful player. I just think he's absolutely brilliant. I think he's perfect for that team. I think when Arteta obviously learned under Pep, and he learned what he liked under Pep, and I think he probably learned what he didn't like under Pep, which is why you've got this hybrid team who are, if things aren't going their way, can obviously do the stuff that they can do.
Hybrid of Pep Guardiola and Tony Pulis.
Yeah, exactly. It is, if you like. Yeah, it is, isn't it? Well, or maybe even Moisey. You know, he spent time under David Moyes, and I think you've got to do that as a coach. You look at people and you learn from them as you go up. And I think he's probably looked at Pep and looked at De Bruyne and think, well, I need someone like that who's just going to be a hub of creativity. So I think he does that. I just think he's wonderful. I actually really like Lewis Skelly as well. You can immediately from yesterday's game just bomb down there, and Martinelli should have scored very early in that game, and the game should have been a lot easier because they had a chance near the end. I mean, it could have been 1-1, and they wouldn't have deserved that. Olympiacos, of course. I like Gabriel. Actually, no, sorry, I hate Gabriel. But yeah, I mean, he's annoyingly brilliant, isn't he? What a pain in the arse, by the way. What a pain in the absolute arse. I think the goalkeeper was a good sign-in to upgrade from what's his name at Southampton? He's not at Southampton. He's gone. Where'd he go? He went to Newcastle, didn't he?
Yeah, he's at Newcastle. Ramsey's at Newcastle now, yeah.
Yeah. I think the goalkeeper's a good goalkeeper as well. I just got some really, really good players, and the little 15-year-old Dobby, whatever his name is, Dobson, Dolby, yeah, Dolby Surround, whatever. Yeah, he looks like a good player. They got some good players there.
Yeah, top players, left to right, back to front. I'll pick out a few of my sort of favourites. Timber, I think, is about best right back in the league. I do. I think he's defensively brilliant. I think going forward, he's absolutely brilliant as well. I don't think he quite gets the plaudits he deserves for some reason. Maybe it's just because he's not quite, I don't know, doesn't knock it past his man and whip in that superb cross or so. I don't know what it is, but I think he's a brilliant right back. I really like him. And I think Calafiori's really made a big difference to Arsenal this season. He was just out for ages last season, just had a long-term injury, and it almost feels like it's a new signing for them, although it's not. But I like the way he plays. He's a very good footballer. He was a good footballer in Serie A, and we were linked to him once upon a time as well. I remember sort of laughing at it, thinking, no chance. And when you see him at Arsenal, you can see why, or I feel like I know why I said no chance. On the deck, he's brilliant. In the area, he's really good. Defensively, pretty strong. Can be a little bit erratic and aggressive sometimes. But I think that's what might make Arsenal go on and be successful this season, because Timber's worthy of scoring goals, Calafiori's worthy of scoring goals, Gabriel can score goals, and if you've got 3 goal scorers in your back line, you're doing something right there. And I think Zubimendi's been a fantastic signing for them as well. I think he's really just lifted how good Arsenal are and how good, just moved Declan Rice a couple of yards off the pitch. Odegaard, I don't think, has been on it for a little while. I know he had a good game against Olympiacos, but I think he was quite poor last season, and Arteta needs to get him back to his best, or perhaps change something there. Anyway, a lot of good players at Arsenal. We're predicting a good season for them. Shall we see if we're predicting a good afternoon for West Ham?
Yeah, for sure.
We're going to start with some team news. No Thomas Souček. This is his 3rd match of his 3-game suspension. So he's back after the international break, hence why he's playing against Reading midweek. He was all right. I watched the game. He was okay. Wan-Bissaka will put down as should be okay, but there's still question marks over him. Apparently he had a late fitness test prior to the Everton game. I think what that meant was the rest of the team were in Liverpool and he was still in London. And he was like, can you get a train? Do you have time to get up there? But we'll just assume Wan-Bissaka's available for the preview. And apart from that, Gonzo, I think everyone else is available. I don't think we're missing anyone. I don't think there's any injuries. You could even have Todibo and Ward-Prowse if you wish.
I'm all right. Cheers, but thank you.
Yeah, well, anyway, this is a team you want to see, and the team I want to see, not what we think Nuno will do. Although they might be quite similar. Talk me through the goalkeeper you desire, as well as your back four.
Well, I don't really want to make any changes, but I am going to make one.
Okay, interesting.
Spice up the thing, really. To be fair, so goalkeeper with Areola, just in case you don't know, Juf at left back, Kilman at left centre back, Mavropanos at right centre back, and I would bring Wan-Bissaka back in for this.
How come?
Because I think he's brilliant. Because I think he's our best player.
You think Wan-Bissaka is our best player?
In defence, yeah, I think he's our best defender.
Okay.
Yeah, I do. I think he's our best defender. Yeah. I know. Well, he won Hammer of the Year. There's he was our best player last season. I also, more than that, I think Nuno would love him. I've seen. I think I've already seen enough. Listen to your excellent video last night with the Nottingham Forest fan. The more I hear, the more I see, the more I think he is going to love Wan-Bissaka. I really, really do. And so that's it. He does not deserve to lose the shirt. Walker Peters absolutely does not deserve to lose the shirt. Let me just say that. And I think if we were playing a lesser team, I'd probably keep Walker Peters in. But Arsenal are I think we need everything. We need our best players. We need everything to go our way. And like I said, Arsenal will need Liverpool to have an off season to win the league. I think we need Arsenal to have an off game for us to get anything from this game. I know they made changes, as you alluded to, against Olympiacos. We need a lot. They're so much better than us. We need a lot of things. We need every marginal thing in our favour. And I think he's harder. I think Wan-Bissaka is harder to dribble past than Kyle Walker-Peters. And I think he'd probably give us a little bit more athleticism as well. So if he's fit, I'll bring him back in.
I think you make a good case. And even if people disagree, and I'm one of them, I'm not offended by your suggestion. It's not a wild one, bringing the guy that won Ham of the Year back into the team. And he had a bad game against Chelsea, but he's still a really good player. There's no doubt about that. But I would retain Walker Peters for the reason you said, which is he doesn't deserve to lose his shirt. And I'm a big believer of when you get your opportunity, if you take it, you keep it. Now, there are some cases that doesn't apply to. So let's just say Bowen missed this game. Guilherme came in, was man of match, scored a goal. I'd say, sorry, mate, you're going back on the bench because Bowen's coming back in. But I don't think that's what we're witnessing here. We've seen Walker Peters play quite a few games now, and I think he's been, in his worst game, I think he was average. He's had some good games and okay games. I don't think he's actually had a bad one yet. There's been a couple of iffy moments, sure. But Wan-Bissaka had plenty of those during games over the course of last season. Just that what I will agree with you on, though, is that Wan-Bissaka's perhaps got a higher ceiling in terms of performance. Defensively, At his best, he is better than Walker Peters at his best. And offensively, I don't think there's much between them. But what Wan-Bissaka does have going forward that Walker Peters doesn't, it's hard with these two players having two names. Is stressful here. I might just call him Karen. Karen? That's not Karen. That's a combination. Kyle and Aaron.
Karen. Yeah, and we got Espirito Santo, by the way, as well. Is another, and we got I said we did have Ward-Prowse, maybe not so much anymore.
Yeah. But what I do think Aaron has over Kyle is that in the middle third of the pitch, he does travel with the ball better and quicker. I think, and I think if we are going to play sort of prime Nuno ball, I think speed of attack is quite important. And as I will always repeat, yes, okay, that will involve pace, but it doesn't rely on pace. Jared Bowen can be a key to that, and he's not the quickest player, but because he's so direct and he's so good at traveling with the ball, I would argue that's better than a player that's quicker than Bowen, but just not as good with the ball or as good at dribbling. And I think Wan-Bissaka does have that sort of momentum and drive that Walker Peters is perhaps lacking. But I'm going to stick with Areola, Walker Peters, Mavropanos, Kilman and Diouf. Brilliant from Kilman against Everton. Brilliant from Diouf. Mavropanos, dodgy game, needs to do better. However, I have no desire for Todibo and I have no desire for Igor. So he keeps his place. Plus, I think he's had a lot of good games up until that dodgy one. Moving into midfield then. This is where it gets a little bit interesting for Nuno, I think. I think there's some big decisions to make. And I think they're possibly linked, the midfield and the striker. Because I think we are both going to want to see the same guy on the right, which is Jared Bowen.
Yeah, I know. I don't know why you're telling me. I know.
I was waiting for you to say. I was setting you up.
Yeah, it's your sentence. I don't know why you stopped. I thought you were buffering or something.
Not yet. Later. On the left, Somerville. And it's the other four that I think we may disagree on, we may agree on. And I think Nuno's got some big calls. So starting with the midfield, single pivot or double pivot, whatever you prefer.
Brilliant. All the pivots for me, all of them. He's got a decision to make because Magassa made errors and got better, and Potts came on and didn't make any errors. So there you go. So pick that one out. They're a big team, though, Arsenal, which is another reason to pick Ward-Prowse in there as well. We've got a bit more physicality about him. For that reason, I'd pick Magassa, but I'm still a bit... He's still...
You mean Wan-Bissaka, right?
What did I say?
Ward-Prowse. Oh, yeah. That Hulk. Get that Hulk in midfield. That was Ward-Prowse will sort things out.
This is what I'm saying. All these names. Well, you were saying it, to be fair. Yeah. Malik Diouf as well. I just need to cut it down. Why can't we just have a load of players called Alf and something like that? Just Denver Bar. I liked him. There was no confusion there, was there? BA as a anyway. So not James Ward-Prowse.
That bully.
Right, so yes. Aaron
He's being bullied.
Yes, he has. Obi-Wan at right back because he's got more physicality. And I would probably, I don't know what Magassa's middle name is. But Magassa, I would probably play him because he's got a bit more physicality. I am worried that he's just going to pass it to Arsenal though, and they, they're very direct as well. But I'm going to pick Magassa because, but there's nothing in it. I could be convinced either way. Obviously the old pivots of Fernandez and Paqueta, I would play in midfield. Yeah.
So I would make a change in midfield. I'm bringing Potts in
and dropping Paqueta.
Possibly, maybe not. We'll discuss. To play alongside Magassa. I think because it's Arsenal, I think if we could have a little bit more protection in front of that defence, it won't be a bad thing. And given the way that we're going to play, which is to sit in front of our defence, I think having that extra body in there is not a silly thing to do. And I think Magassa started terribly against Everton, but I was really impressed by him. By the time he went off, he'd won me over in that performance. By the end of it, I was enjoying him. I was enjoying his passes. I thought he was shielding the ball well. I thought he was encouraging the press and beating the press. I was loving a little bit of Magassa by the end of it. And that far outweighs a dodgy start, because I'm willing to put the start down to nerves, being new to the league. It's his first ever start for us, right? If there's ever a game you can let him off, it's that one. And I'm letting him off with it. And here's the thing, although I would play him, a bit like what you've just hinted at there, I'm quite confident he's going to make mistakes in this game. Yeah. He's not going to be flawless. There's going to be some misplaced passes. He's still learning his trade. And this is very much deep end stuff for him. And this ain't a reflection on him. It's a reflection on the squad, and that we have to start him for this one. Because ideally, you maybe take him out and put in the more experienced player and said, look, we've got Brentford after international break. You're in for that one, mate. Don't worry about it. We're protecting you here. I don't think we can afford to protect him for this game. He has to go in there, and we just got to pray he's close to flawless as possible, because that's what he's going to have to be. And I'm going to put Potts in there so that there's just less responsibility on Magassa, because against Everton, he was in the middle of the pitch with Fernandes and Paqueta ahead of him. Actually, with this one having Potts next to him, less pitch to cover, less opponents to cover, reduce the responsibilities for them. And also both them, I was impressed by both their distribution. I'm having Fernandes ahead of them towing the number 10 role. Get the ball to him as much as you can, because against Everton, he wanted the ball. He was willing to grab that game by the scruff of the neck. And I like a player that's got the cojones to do that, that doesn't hide, that doesn't let your defence pass it around at the back. He drops into the defence and stop this, give it to me, and I'm going to get rid of it. I'm fed up of watching you two doing 1-2s between yourselves and going back to the goalkeeper. I'm not having that. Give it to me. I'm going to pass it. I'm going to travel with it, whatever. But if we could have him picking it off of Potts and Magassa instead of Mav, Patterson, Kilman, that would make a big difference to us. You're Bowen, you're Somerville, you're the striker we'll get on to. He gets the ball. You know you can move, you can come short. Fernandes is a lovely footballer. We've not seen anywhere near the best of him yet. I'm quite looking forward to it. And I think he might enjoy becoming the man in the middle of the pitch for West. I do. I think he's the type of player, the more responsibility, the better. The more ego, the more arrogance, the better. I want to test it. Arsenal's a bigger stage as you're going to get as a creative midfielder. Go on then. Go do it against Zubimendi and Declan Rice. Go unlock the defence of Calafiori, Gabriel, Saliba and Timber. Let's see a really good, because if you can do that, you've got it. So I'd have Fernandes in that number 10 role. And that leaves us both with a striker, Gonzo. Who are you opting for?
I'm going for Callum Marshall. And I'm doing it. I would give him an instruction not to get marked by the central defenders. I'd tell him to drop deep, drop into pockets of space, and give them nobody to mark. Nobody. There you go. There's your 4 centre backs. You've got no one to mark, right? I think it's pointless sending Fulkrug up against them, because I think they're monsters, and I just think they'll just lean over him, tower over him. I think we'll get very little. And I think if they were to play Zubimendi, for instance, I'd almost tell Marshall and Paqueta to almost give him a decision which one of those two to mark. Or what you're going to do is maybe one of those central defenders going to have to go deep, almost into midfielders, into the number 10 position. Give them something to think about there. Because I tell you what, with Somerville running in behind, or I think, particularly moving inside, and obviously, as we know, Bowen can do that as well. I think it's an unwinnable battle with their central defenders. So I think I don't even fight it. Fight the game somewhere else on the pitch. So yeah, I know people might say he's too small. I wouldn't ask him to contest it when we got the ball. I think you may make him make those darting runs, and I think he'd be very, very good at that.
Plus, also when Arsenal have the ball on the deck in defence, he'll chase them.
Of course, yes, for sure.
He will run after them, and he will just nip away at their heels and stuff like that. I feel like I can make a case for 3 players here. There's 4 options for me. The one I'm ruling out is Callum Wilson. I can't make a case for starting him.
Yeah.
I just can't. There's the profile of striker, his athletic side of the game. There's nothing that says, yeah, that's the man I want up front against Arsenal. Maybe off the bench, but not from the start. And that leaves me 3. Option 1 is Marshall. You've just made it. The thing that puts me off that is I don't think he was very good against Reading. He got his goal, but I thought his passing was sloppy. I don't think he had a great game. And And I'm only going to judge him on the first half, because the second half we got a red card very early on. It just killed the game for us. But the first 45, he wasn't great. I was hoping he would perform really well. Same as Souček. I thought I wanted Souček to have a really good game here, because I thought, have you done this voluntary to impress Nuno? And if that's what he's done, I'm all for that. Or whether he's been put in there for fitness, I thought I could only see positives of Souček playing that game. And then Scarles played as well. I thought, come on, have a really good game. Show Nuno what you got. And I was a bit disappointed with some of the players' performances. Marshall was one of them. Paqueta's an option, and that's sort of false nine, because he can compete physically when he's arsed. He can contest aerial duels. But also, if you get him the ball, he can hold it up. And actually, if he can get it and he's got Somerville and Bowen running past him, maybe, it's almost like the most advanced number 10 you're ever going to have. But he's playing as a striker, essentially. And you've got Fernandes close to him as well. I think I'm maybe heading down that road. And the other one is Füllkrug. And I think I hate saying this, but this is something we've got to consider here. I felt he won a lot of headers defensively against Everton. There was a few corners and crosses I thought he got his head on. We're coming up against the best team in the league at set pieces, and under Graham Potter, we were the worst team in the league at set pieces by some distance, and we conceded a goal, albeit not from a set piece statistically, but it was a second phase of attack from a corner. I'm a little bit worried that if we remove Füllkrug and put Marshall in, we're losing one of the big boys at the back there. And whilst I don't want to set up to defend from the start, I think you kind of have to against this Arsenal team. I just watched Gabriel smash through Newcastle's defence, which had Dan Burn man marking him. He got rid of Dan Burn. I don't know exactly which defenders were on the pitch for Newcastle at that point, but they were certainly playing a back five. So I think Botman and Chow might have been on the pitch as well. A big Newcastle team, bang, go. Right, okay, nice one. I'm terrified about defending corners against this lot. So the more big players, aerial dominant players we've got, and we don't have many of them. I think Füllkrug and Souček are the two, and one of them can't play. Might not be a bad thing. So I think I'd opt for Füllkrug early on in this game. But the bit of advice I'd give Nuno, sub him. He was blowing out his arse against Everton. He played to 90 minutes. Just be a bit braver with Füllkrug. Right, before I ask if you're feeling fruity, Gonzo, can you point people in the direction of our raffle, please?
I certainly can. Look, if you want to win a signed Jarrod Bowen shirt, not match worn, but signed Jarrod Bowen shirt that's actually been signed by Jarrod Bowen, not by us. No. If you want to win a signed Jarrod Bowen's captain's armband, signed by Jarrod Bowen, not signed by us. Or, as our third prize, if you would like to win a Europos Cupos Conference League final programme, signed, yes, you've guessed it, by Jarrod Bowen, then you need to join our raffle. We've done a number of raffles so far. Everybody has been very, very happy. All the winners have left feedback. We basically use this raffle website. I guess it's a bit like TripAdvisor or eBay, and you can leave reviews. So you can go and do that. All the money goes into the central hub, and it all gets paid out, and all the prizes get automatically sent to the winners. The tickets are £5 each for entry, but if you buy 2 tickets, you get a third ticket for free. It closes on Sunday, so only got a couple of days to get your entries in there. Really, really good prizes. Well, we think they are anyway. Just for pure transparency, as you might have noticed, Hammers Chat have lost a sponsor recently, so this is a great way for you guys to support Hammers Chat. So all the proceeds from this are going towards the Hammers Chat Biscuit Fund. There you go. Link is in the description below.
Not that I'm petty or anything, but in the thumbnail for this video, we've got Declan Rice and Magassa. I like to do it players in similar positions whenever I do the thumbnails, and I've made Magassa so that his torso's behind the bit that says match preview.
I know what you mean.
I'm not that petty or anything, but I've tried to squeeze him over there as much as I can.
Yeah.
Anyway, coming to Hammers Chat thumbnails over the next few months is West Ham players in last season's kits.
It's true. It's true.
Normally I ask if you're fruity or optimistic. I'm going to change it. Are you more hopeful?
Yeah, I think you can say that. I think I am. Do I think we'll win? No, I really don't. But I'm looking forward to the game. I'm looking forward to more stuff. I don't think there was any surprise when the news came out this morning that as soon as Nuno came in, he wanted to work on the set pieces. Had 2 training sessions, work on the set pieces, fight for every ball, get the ball forward more quickly. Simple stuff. Basic stuff makes you realise how much of that we weren't doing before. That gives you half a chance. Arsenal are not going to win every game this season. Not only that, they're going to lose games against teams they're supposed to beat. And we'd certainly be one of those. And we can beat Arsenal. Well, we've got a recent history of beating Arsenal, so let's get that right. But they are brilliant. They are better than us in almost every single position. It's going to be really tough. It's at their place. He's an attritional is Arteta as well. He's desperate. He's desperate to win. But it's given me confidence because I just had no confidence. It almost seems like a mismatch of Potter against Arteta. It does just seem like a mismatch. As you got the aggressive one that basically have a fight of himself in a telephone box, and then the sort of softly spoken apologist, if you want, who's eager to please and all the rest of it. I don't think we've got that anymore. I don't think we've got that. I like Nuno's plain speaking. In fact, I quite like to see Arteta try and square up to Nuno on the touchline. Actually, I think he's given us a bit of belief. We'll fight for this. We probably will lose, but we'll give it a go and we'll fight for it. And you never know. You just never know. So yeah, it's just giving me a little bit of hope. But moreover, I think they'll give us enough hope. There should be enough things that go for us in this game that we should be able to take on. Then got the international break. He's going to get his coaching staff in during the international break. So I think even if we were to lose, which we probably will, there'll be enough positives in here, and we'll know what we can take forward from it.
Yeah, he's given me my mojo back a little bit. I will say that. I remember doing this preview, well, not this one, because it was a different team. But when we did our preview for the Tottenham game and we did our preview for the Chelsea game, and both sat here miserable. We're going to get beat. Well, we were right. We've got beat 8-1 on aggregate across the 2 games, right? But I can't remember which one it was. I think it was the Spurs one. I think we sat here going, do you know what? Normally we fancy us. Normally we go, do you know what? We're crap, but we're going to do them, right? Because it's just what we do. And that's what we've done to Arsenal a few times. It's what we've done to Tottenham quite a lot. When a few occasions Spurs win a title race, it'd come to a London Stadium and we'd beat them. And be like, wait, that's your title. You're like, small chance for a title, gone. It's done. We've had it. So we'd be sat in the bottom half of the table, not much to cheer about, but we'd give someone a bloody nose. And that bit of hope, that little bit of optimism, that little bit of West Ham-itis I had didn't exist earlier this season when we played Chelsea and Spurs. I was sat here confident we were going to get a slap, and we did in both games. And when I watched us, we got 1 red card across both games combined. We got 1 red card, and it wasn't for a meaty challenge. It was for a horrible first touch and a panic by Thomas Tuchel. But there was no bookings. There was no yellow cards for aggression. There was no yellow cards for showing a bit of fight on the pitch. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. We were playing out 2 London derbies like a team of pussies, just rolling over. Oh, thou shalt not lay a glove on Chelsea. Oh, it's Spurs. Oh, no, we can't do anything. It was pathetic. I hated it. I don't have that feeling anymore. I'm thinking, you know what? I'm a bit like you. I'm looking forward to it on Saturday. Yeah. I'm looking forward to the lineup coming out. I'm looking forward to kickoff. I'm hoping Declan Rice has his annual stinker when he plays against us. He does not play well against West Ham. Concede the penalty, remember, and then stood there laughing about it because everyone was singing about it. Hoping that continues. I'm looking forward to this game. If Potter was in charge, I'd be predicting we get smashed 5-0, no bookings, 3 corners. Gabriel's has banged in a hat-trick of headers against us, whatever. History's made for set pieces. Something's gone now. And when I read that Nuno's been focusing on set pieces and moving the ball forward quicker, I thought, you know what, that'll do.
Yep, that's true.
If you can stop us conceding at set pieces and make us attack quicker and play with a little bit of pride, I'll take that. And I think we will do that against Arsenal. We still may concede at set pieces because I think they'll get many and they're that bloody good at them. But I think they might have to work for them a little bit, whereas not so much before. You just had to cross the ball in and head it, and you'd scored against us. Bring on Arsenal is what I say. There's something about me that quite likes the fact that he's not got his coaching staff yet.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
There's something about me that likes the fact that those academy coaches are still in among the first team. And I'm hoping that they're going to get a little bit of a Braveheart speech, because this is the last opportunity, possibly. This is the last opportunity for Mark Robson and Steve Potts to make their impact on the first team, because they know when we play Brentford, have his own team there and they'll be back dealing with under 20. I mean, Robson was in charge on Tuesday, so he's doing both jobs at the minute.
Yeah.
Bugger's probably never at home. But on Saturday, I just like the idea of one of those coaching staff just saying something to those players that gets them up so then they walk out of that tunnel. They're foaming out of the mouth. They're ready to go, and they're just snapping into challenges. I'm looking forward to this, actually. I am praying for the biggest 1-0 shithouse I've ever seen in my life. Honestly, one shot on target. They can have 20 shots for all I care, and we win 1-0. I'll take a point right now, but I don't know. There's just a bit in me, like you said. Someone's going to do it to Arsenal this season, where they rock up at the Emirates and win 1-0. Could be us. We've done it before. Will it be us? Can I get any final words in your score prediction, please, Gonzo?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, if it is 1-0 West Ham, Dinos Mavropanos header from a corner. There you go. There's a script for you. Yeah, look, we go into it. He's already built a really good feel-good factor. Transformative, actually, I would suggest with I can't speak, I'm not on the training pitch, but probably a good thing as well. It's bad enough with James Ward-Prowse playing at right back. You don't need me in there as well in the mix. But I think the mood has probably improved on the training pitch. Certainly from a fan's perspective, it has been transformative. I think it has given us a bit of hope. We like the cut of his jib. He's no nonsense. I think they've got a European campaign. They have switched things around a bit. The tie hasn't worked out because they were at home, so it would have been nice if they'd have been, playing away to Mongolia FC or something like that. That would have been good, but it's okay. It's okay. I don't mind this at all. I just want to see a little bit incremental improvements from the team, incremental improvements from the defence. Like we see Magassa being not starting as nervously, then that will be an incremental improvement as well. And look, you never know down that left-hand side. You never know what can happen there with Juff doing his stuff, with Somerville running at them. They're gonna have to be careful, because they are gonna have to be. He's gonna have to be very good. Timber, would probably say, will probably play. Their centre backs may be very good. Otherwise, they're going to get fouls, and they're going to foul. And I'd quite like to see us getting them on a yellow card very early in the game. Actually, I think that would be very interesting. I do think they're going to win, and I think they'll probably win relatively comfortably. But I'll tell you the difference now.
Go on.
Oh, when we sacked Graham Potter, I bet Everton and their fans and David Moyes, oh, for goodness sake.
Yeah.
I would have pointed to, oh, right, okay, let's get a bit tougher now. Same with Arsenal. I think we have gone from being the team everybody wanted to play to now thinking, oh, I'd actually rather not play West Ham right now. And that's something. I think they'll win 2-0, but I think we'll come away with some positives.
Oh, I did 2-1. I thought you were going to go for a narrow Arsenal win. I'm also going to go 2-0 Arsenal. I'm fearless going into this one, though. I'm looking forward to it. This one's not on Nuno, no matter what happens. Even if we get tanked 4-0, I'm not going to put this one at Nuno's door. Now, I should say that maybe I would. If he fielded a formation of 3-3-4 and we got beat 4, and I say, look, Nuno, mate, I don't know what you were up to, but the reason we've got it beat is because you played Igor at centre back, Ward-Prowse and Irving. So it can't be on his head, right? Sure. But doing something stupid aside, this one won't be a reflection of him. However, we come away with something. I think it is a reflection of him. He can only win, in my book, on Saturday. I agree with you. I think we were the team everyone was wanting to play. But I think Arsenal, for me, are the team you want to avoid at the minute. I think this is just a difficult fixture. And there's a lot of other fixtures this weekend. If we had it, I So after international break, we've got Brentford at home, and we had that this weekend. I said, you know what? I think we're going to win. And then we've got Leeds away. I said, oh, tough game. We won't lose though. And then later on that month, we've got Burnley at home. I said, you know what? I think we might win that. So 3 of the next 4 fixtures coming up. If it was this weekend, I'd be predicting us to win or draw. It's just my prediction is a reflection of Arsenal, not Nuno. Anyway, thank you very much for joining us. If you fancy getting your hat into the draw, 88 people have entered so far. If you fancy getting your name in the hat for winning one of the signed items, a signed Jared Bowen shirt, captain's armband, or the Conference League final program, the link to do so is in the description below and the pinned comments. A massive thank you to everybody who picks up a ticket or two and supports the channel. We appreciate you. But please also do drop a like on the video as well by clicking thumbs up. Scouting Hammers Chat, myself and Gonzo. Catch you in a bit.